my live stream on Neptune entering Aries. Neptune will be entering Aries for the first time in a hot minute in 164 years. So a new era is upon us, and we're going to talk about what that means for your sign and how you can leverage it to your greatest advantage. I'm Joshua the Psychic, by the way. Nice to see everybody. You can check out my website, psychicsun.com, if there's anything I can do for you. I also have a lot of free resources in the description below, so check that out, including a companion Substack piece for this live stream. So check out the description if you're interested in any of that. So let's talk about Neptune and Aries and what that's all about. So as I said, Neptune is going to enter Aries for the very first time in 164 years since the Civil War. And that's going to usher in a period of bold creative action. This transit, it's going to be going on from March 30th, right after our new moon solar eclipse. And then it's going to be in Aries. Neptune will be in Aries starting March 30th, 2025. And it will stay there until October 22nd, 2025. And then it will, because it will be in retrograde status, go back into Pisces until January 26, 2026. And then it's going to be in Aries eventually until 2039. So we have a long transit. So after January of 2026, Neptune will be staying for quite some time. And this transit is going to spark inspiration. It's going to push us to take courageous steps toward our dreams and to assert our individuality. So it's a big deal. And you're going to probably be able to manifest a lot faster. So Neptune, since 2011, had been in its home sign of Pisces, which is really great for artistic imagination, romance, really allowing yourself to get ultra spiritualized, contemplative. And Neptune it's like evidence of God. I always use the example of Cindy Crawford back in the 90s when she was this supermodel. She was like so beautiful. It was like almost like evidence of God, right? And that's what Neptune does. It elevates things. It brings them to this sublime level. And it can be illusionary and it can be confusing, but it also can be hyper imaginative and very, very spiritual. So when it was in Pisces, it was a matter of we had all these ideas and these impressions, but we may not have been able to execute them because Pisces is, well, very much like Neptune. It's not easy to create something from that Neptunian 12th house Piscean space, but when it enters Aries, it's going to be a matter of action is the name of the game, and it's going to be easier for you to execute your ideals, your visions. Hello, sunflowers. Nice to see you. Hey, Kasmar. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for joining tonight. So yes, it's a big deal, and it's a new era. So Neptune, it's the planet of dreams, intuition, spiritual growth that governs our creativity, our imagination, our connection to unseen realms. It inspires us to transcend the ordinary and to embrace our deeper, higher selves, pushing us to trust our instincts and to explore the mystical. So our imaginations are going to be changing with Neptune's transit in Aries. And if you have strong Aries in your chart, you're going to find yourself, I wouldn't say subdued, but you will be made a little bit more softer, more contemplative. And that won't be a bad thing. I think it'll give you pause. Those people who have Aries in their charts. Also, you got to remember Saturn is going to be going into Aries in May, which is really, really nice because Saturn and Neptune are pretty much opposites. Saturn wants definition, right? And Neptune obfuscates. And with the two together, Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries, it's going to be very easy for you to see what you want to achieve and boom, just do it. And we'll talk more about that for each sign. So Aries, of course, is the very first sign of the zodiac. It starts everything. It's the fieriest fire sign, fire of fire. It's the sign of bold action, courage, and leadership. It's governed by Mars, planet of action, drive, and initiative. And it thrives on initiating new beginnings, embracing challenges, and asserting independence. Aries can typically, archetypically, you have to look at the whole chart, but they love starting things. They're not great at finishing them, right? It's almost analogous to the brightest fires burn out the quickest, right? They're very, very gung-ho about things, but because they're so fiery at the get-go, they may not have the staying power for the long haul. Again, you have to look at the whole chart. If you have an Aries who has strong Taurus in her chart, oh boy, well, she'll be able to have that stamina as well as that get up and go. Aries is driven by a pioneering spirit, and it acts with confidence and purpose to blaze new trails and to embrace personal freedom. So Aries is going to be softer in some respects, and it's going to be very easy, I think, for Aries to manifest, especially with Saturn going into Aries too this spring. And you can call upon that energy yourself, even if you're not an Aries. You will have Aries in some area of your chart, and we're going to talk about that tonight for each sign. So Neptune with Aries is the creative pioneer. The two of these energies fuel bold, imaginative action. The transit will inspire us to dream big and to act fearlessly. Now, when Neptune was in Pisces, we may have gotten those visions, but we may have been a little bit loosey-goosey about it, a little flip-floppy, wishy-washy. And now it's a matter of, okay, well, you see this? All right, we'll do it. Aries has a certain level of common sense, and it's very, very basic. You know, you complain to an Aries, oh, you know, I'm so fat, I've gained weight. Aries will say, well, stop eating so much. I hate my job. This sucks. Look for a new job. Like, they're very basic and simple. And I think that that energy is going to really, really help us to manifest, because so many things are just plain common sense. Of course, you'll find common sense is not really that common, right? But for all of us, we're going to be able to see it. And it's not like we didn't realize these sensical things before, but they're going to be a lot more apparent, and it's going to be a lot easier for us to get a vision that we really, really like and to execute on that vision. Like, what does it look like? Do it. You fail, fine. Fail better the next time is really the key. So it's a time for us to step into creative ventures, to trust our instincts, and to boldly pursue your deepest desires with confidence. Aries are very, very intuitive signs. They're very, very instinctual. They say you can't hide anything for an Aries. They just know it. Unlike Pisces that might feel something or sense something, Aries has that instinctual sense of that's a lie, or that's not true, or that's not going to be correct. And we're going to be able to really feel that sense of intuition when Neptune is in Aries. So it should be pretty cool. So it's a time for personal transformation for all of us. Neptune in Aries invites us to align our inner vision with action. It's a time for reinvention and pursuing what truly ignites our souls. So we're going to explore how this dynamic transit affects your personal growth, your leadership, and your self-expression. And we're going to first, of course, start with Aries. So for Aries, Neptune, of course, is going to be hitting your first house. This is about your identity. It's about your personality. This is I always say, first house first. It's the most important house of the zodiac, because everything starts with your self-concept, with your self-construct, how you see yourself. So for all of us, you need to see yourself doing what it is that you want to do in order for you to do it. Believing is seeing. So for you, Aries, it's in your first house. It's about your identity. It's about your personality. If you want a new personal reality, all you got to do is change your personality. Easier said than done, but I think that Aries, especially with the eclipses that we have going on, especially the one on the 29th of March, it's going to be easier to change than to stay stagnant. So with Aries, you're going to be dreaming of yourself, thinking about all the multifaceted aspects of your personality. And you'll probably go toward the one that is most exciting. You'll want to follow your excitement always, but it's going to be easier for you to follow your excitement, especially in terms of a new identity. And you may surprise yourself, Aries. You're like, oh, I never in a million years thought I would do this. But here I am. Look at me doing it. So you want to act on your inspirations. Always trust your instincts, of course, and allow yourself to step into this new chapter. We're making ourselves up as we go along. And I think that with Neptune in your sign, Aries, this is particularly important for you to remember, because you get to be whoever it is that you want to be. And if you want to be somebody, well, that might be who you are, right? And you want to dream up a brand new you. Like, what is going to make your life really, really delicious day in and day out? How can you fall in love with the various aspects of your life? How can you fall in love with your work, your job, your romantic partner, your home, right? And how can you assert yourself in a way that is authentic, but also refreshing? Because that Neptune's god of the sea, it's going to cleanse you, Aries, and you want to allow yourself to not feel beholden to who it was you were before. Because what is it they say? Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So keep that in mind, Aries. So Taurus, Neptune in Aries will be hitting your 12th house. So this is going to make you even more sensitive in a lot of respects. It's going to make you very, very psychic. The 12th house has to do with your subconscious, your spirituality, and it's what you believe in the back of your mind. You know, do you have expectations that you're not aware of, right? What are you expecting? Because at the end of the day, expectation yields your results. So you want to get in your mind that expectancy for what it is that you want to happen, right? And really, it's a time when you can really gain so much through sleep. So much can be gained through sleep. When we sleep, we process everything that's gone on. We process everything. It's like defragging our computer, right? We get to process everything that we've gone through. And I would really allow yourself to make sleep a sacred time for you. Before you go to bed, you can give yourself suggestions. You know, you could look at it as prayer. As I sleep, all my cells will restore to perfect health. As I sleep, help me process everything that I've been going through. As I sleep, help me line up with my goals and to achieve my objectives. Your subconscious is always listening, Taurus. So you don't want to not take advantage of that. You want to take advantage of that, particularly before sleep, because when you sleep, right before you sleep, whatever you're thinking about before you sleep, your subconscious grabs onto it. And it's like you're marinating in that all night long. So, of course, never, ever, ever go to bed angry, please. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, but if you can help it, never go to sleep angry. It's not good. It's just going to set you up for not as great of a day that it could be. So surrender control, allow yourself to let go, trust your flow, go with your intuition. You may have a new appreciation for solitude and doing things on your own, and really trusting your gut and your inner guidance, because you are going to be more intuitive. And I also would say you want to allow yourself to process any old feelings, any old damage, so to speak, that you may have. And that could be through creative activities. Taurus rules the voice. They're usually beautiful singers. If they're not singers, then they have a beautiful, beautiful, melodious voice. And you want to really use that voice. And that doesn't mean that you just have to sing or talk, but even writing, for instance, opens your throat chakra. Painting opens your throat chakra. So do anything creative. I would really establish a creative process, because you're going to be getting a lot of information in your subconscious. You're going to get a lot of images, and you want to do something with them. You want to flow with them. So the biggest advice I can give you is to dream up a magical universe when you sleep. Really allow yourself to make sleep a sacred time for yourself, and tell yourself that it's a restorative period, because you're going to be able to get a lot of really good impressions, and you can connect with your alternative selves, or yourselves from past lives. I say alternative selves because past lives, that moniker is not really correct, because all time is going on simultaneously. So your life in the 1700s is going on simultaneously as your life in 3040, right? And if you need any help in your life, well, you can call upon one of your alternative selves. You can say, for instance, say you got to take the bar exam and you suck at taking tests. Well, you have an alternative self that may have taken the bar several times and passed with flying colors. We'll call upon that alternative self, right? Or if you want a confident self, etc. So definitely utilize that imagination. So for Gemini, this transit, Neptune in Aries, will be hitting your 11th house. So this is about your friends, your community. Most important, it's about your hopes, dreams, wishes, and ideals. And the 11th house really says, why not? Meaning that if you have a desire, that comes with it the built-in prerequisite ability for you to achieve that desire. So there are no dangling carrots in the universe. If you want something, you can achieve it. You just got to believe. And really, a lot of what you wind up getting in life is going to be through relationships. So many things have to do with relationships, particularly with the 11th house, your community, your friends. So you want to make sure you're connecting with like-minded people. They're going to give you so much energy, and it's going to be so much easier for you to take action on your goals if you're around people who support you, or if you're around people who are after the same goals, because your competitive instincts will kick in. You'll feel part of a collective. So definitely, that's a shortcut if you want to manifest your best life under this transit. Get around people who are doing what you want to do, or who are already doing it, which would be even better. Collaboration is going to be really important. You might want to do things with friends as opposed to flying solo. I would say that, Neptune does fuzzy things. So it might be important for you to really set your boundaries with groups. Say you have decided to become, I don't know, a member of a board, right? Or you're taking a leadership position in some club. Well, if you don't set your boundaries, you could be working as if this is a part-time job or a full-time job. So be sure to set your boundaries in groups. I think the biggest advice I can give you, Gemini, is to dream up your ideal network. What groups of people are going to be around you that are going to make your life inspiring? And what group is going to really help you go to that next level with whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish? So Cancer, this transit, Neptune in Aries, is hitting your 10th house. So it's about your status. It's about your career, your reputation, how the world sees you, your legacy. What you're most passionate about is actually a 10th house thing. Even though the 10th house is an earthy house, what you're most passionate about is really where you're going to be the best. You can't really beat passion. You can't beat obsession, right? So find out how you're spending your time, because that's another 10th house thing. Like, you should be spending a lot of your time doing what you want to be known for. Like, you wouldn't want to spend an incredible amount of time playing poker unless you want to be a poker player or known as a poker player. Yeah, we have recreation, but again, you want to make sure that things are balanced, and the things that you're spending the most time on, that's going to be your legacy. That's what you're known for. That's your purpose. So you want to align your career with your higher calling. What really excites you? What's easiest for you? What's fun for you? Where do you get the most appreciation and accolades? Cancer, you may be called upon leadership, and that is going to be a challenge, because with that Neptune energy, it might make you, I won't say docile, but it might help to really allow yourself to know that you have a role to play. And, just like a parent, parents can be friendly with their children, but at the end of the day, children need a parent. They need somebody to give them boundaries and to tell them no. They don't need a friend. I mean, they may need a friend too, but your first priority as a parent is to establish guidelines and rules and boundaries. And the same thing really as a boss. You're not serving your employees by being a pushover. You're not serving your employees by acquiescing to pressure. You're going to serve them by being strong. Because what's happening in office environments, but we're replaying and acting out old familial patterns, familiar patterns, right? So as a boss, because you probably will be called for positions of leadership, you owe it to your employees to be strong, to have boundaries, to be the adult in the room. So keep that in mind. And then determine your ideal legacy. I mean, it might sound macabre, but you could write your obituary. Like, what do you want to be known for? Or better yet, write your wiki page, right? What do you want to be known for? And it doesn't mean that if you're not a career person, okay, well, still, maybe you have a reputation for being the most positive person in your group, or, the one who brings everybody together for creative purpose. So dream up your ideal career, your ideal image in the world. And, I would really say, because it's Aries, you might want to do something new. You might want to be the first person to ever do X. That will be helpful. So for Leo, this transit, Neptune in Aries, is hitting your 9th house. That's easy for you. You and Aries get along famously. So 9th house is about your wisdom. It's about higher learning. It's about going beyond your stretch. It involves foreign travel. It could be higher education. It's broadening your horizons. It's also the house of entrepreneurship. So you may decide that you want to start a business. And the 9th house does have to do, too, with publishing and broadcasting, sharing yourself with the world. And when you do that, there are rewards, right? Because the world needs to hear what you have to say. If you have something to say, there's somebody that needs to hear it. It's like a coin. If you have something that you're wanting to create, well, there's an audience for it because, well, a coin has two sides, right? So seek spiritual and intellectual expansion. Determine how you want to grow mentally. Embrace the unknown for growth. You might want to take a leap of faith. This could be going on a foreign trip. That's a leap of faith, right? Because you've never been to this terrain before. Or starting a business could be a leap of faith, or publishing your book could be a leap of faith. But you don't want to do things that, well, I had never done this before, and that's not me. Because again, you're making yourself up as you go along, and there's new things for you in this area. So dream up a life of adventure. What's going to make your life a big adventure? Because you want to allow that fire energy of Neptune and Aries to really inspire you and to get you going. And it's going to take you out of your familiar surroundings, either intellectually or literally, because you may be traveling. So enjoy that, Leo. So for Virgo, this transit, Neptune and Aries, will be hitting your 8th house. So boundaries are going to be really important. The 8th house has to do with rebirth and transformation and joint resources, how you and somebody else are coming together, pooling your resources or energies together. Think of sex. When two people have sex, their auras are with each other and intertwined hours after, which I think is an important thing to remember, for not wanting to sleep with low quality individuals or people who might be negative or toxic. You don't necessarily need that, right? But most important, this is all about rebirth. How are you transforming? How are you allowing yourself to, be that caterpillar, right? That turns into that butterfly. So explore healing and spiritual practices. You may decide that you really want to get down to understanding your issues, get to the bottom of your issues. I always get into these relationships. Why? And that's what psychology does. It asks why. This person does this. Okay, well, why? But why do they do that? What do they have in their head? What beliefs do they have? So the 8th house can be very deeply psychological, in which we realize, oh, okay, I'm doing it again. Because we're the common denominator in all of these factors, and we realize, okay, well, the buck stops with me. It's my fault. I'm allowing it. And in terms of relationships, you're responsible for 50% of every relationship you're in. So be sure to take responsibility for that 50% and heal what you need to heal in order to not repeat old stories. You don't want to make somebody new pay for somebody else's sins. You also don't want to look for something you don't want to see, because then you're going to be soliciting it from the other person. In the beginning of relationships, we're looking for things to appreciate. We're looking for things to enjoy. This could be the greatest thing ever. And we're finding them. And then something happens, right? Some expectation is dashed, or they shit the bed in some capacity. Now we're cagey. Now we're looking. What else is wrong with this person? And in looking for it, we're soliciting it from that individual. So be sure to give people a chance to please you, and seek and ye shall find. If you're looking for things to appreciate, if you're looking for things to love, you're going to find them. And open up emotionally to trusted ones. You got to make sure that you have that self-trust and that you know that you got your own back. And at the end of the day, you're going to be able to support you. And your self-support for yourself is going to be reflected outwardly, and it's going to attract other people on whom you can depend. So if you want to be able to trust other people better, start trusting yourself more. And of course, be a more trusted person for those people around you. Dream up a more empowered version of yourself, because you're going through a transformation here. And I would say that boundaries are going to be important because Neptune fuzzies things. And if it's hitting your 8th house, you got to be clear with your boundaries. Even if it's a matter of saying things that are very, very direct, right? Hey, Haley, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. You want to be very direct, because with Neptune entering Aries, for you, Virgo, you might feel a little weird about creating a boundary. You might be a little bit, oh, I don't know, but you have to do it. You got to let people know where they stand. Like, I'm not doing this. I am doing this. This makes me feel uncomfortable. No, I really would like more of this. Yes. So be communicative and don't muddy the waters. Don't obfuscate. Don't expect people to be mind readers, because they're not, right? And then it's on you if they hit a nerve or they cross your boundaries, because you got to be able to set them up. So what version of yourself is good at setting boundaries? Who does it easily and well? And again, that goes back to the 8th house, because, well, if you need healing, if you need to heal something in the past, maybe you felt that, by evoking a boundary in the past, you got love taken away, or you got in trouble, and you got to change that story. So think about the most empowered version of yourself and step into that energy. So Libra, this is hitting your 7th house. A lot of energy in your 7th house, Libra, this March. And Neptune here, it's going to be all about your relationships, your partnerships, your one-on-one commitments. It's long-term relationships, right? And it's also your audience, if you have an audience. So you're dreaming of union. That is what Libra wants. Balance is partnership for Libra, or partnership is balance for Libra. So you're going to be able to dream up the ideal partner. Say you want, a best friend that you can go on these cool adventures with. Okay, well, visualize it. In fact, it might be easier to dream up a friend than a romantic person, just because the romantic stuff can, well, I think it's a lot more complicated, right? But that being said, you could, of course, dream up a partner, a romantic partner, long-term, short-term, whatever it is that you want. But be specific. Know what you want. And in all your relationships, you want to develop more of this compassion, because that's going to be reflected back to you. If you want people to make allowances for you, then you got to make allowances for other people. And that is typically not an issue. Libra is very, 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 very forgiving. They really will. And out of all the signs in the zodiac, if they have to change in order to be in a relationship, they will do it. They will budge. So they say, oh, a leopard won't change his spots. Well, I don't know. Libra in a relationship, or who has a stake in a relationship, will indeed change. They are really, really big on that. So you want to make sure you're developing that compassion, and that you're also allowing yourself to seek out those people who are compassionate for you. Share your dreams with other people. You could create a new dream for yourself, be it romantic or otherwise, and it might help for you to talk about it with a partner, right? So share your ideals with other people. And I would say assert your needs within partnerships. I think with Neptune in your 7th, you might find yourself not being really direct at times, right? Because Neptune can fuzzy things. Oh, I hope he does this, or I hope he does that. Well, don't hope, because that's not something that is sure, right? You want to make sure that you're checking and double checking and asserting your needs. So dream up your fulfilling connections, whatever it is that you're looking for. Write a list of all the qualities that you want in a person, imbue those traits yourself, and take inspired action. Just visualize. How are you going to feel when you're in that relationship? And really, I think with Neptune and Aries, it's going to be nice for you, Libra. You can set it and forget it. You visualize what you want, then you let it go. You follow your impulses, and before you know it, you're living the dream. So Scorpio. So this is going to be fun for you, Scorpio. Neptune in Aries is hitting your 6th house. So it's all about service, health, your day-to-day regime, the nuts and bolts of your daily operations. how you keep everything running smoothly. So you're dreaming of the perfect lifestyle. And really, you want to think about that. How could you fall in love with every single day? Maybe you need to vary your days, or maybe you need a routine that's rather strict. Find out what's good for you. You may want to infuse creativity or really spirituality in your daily tasks, like washing dishes. You could say, I'm washing away the sins of the world, the pain of the world, right? Or, I'm making space for new clothes by cleaning out my closet, whatever it might be, right? But you want to be creative in your day-to-day regime. Even those things that, nobody really loves doing laundry, right? But if you're making an intention when doing laundry, this week ahead is going to be fantastic. Why is this week ahead going to be so fantastic as you're folding your clothes? And then you have that thought where you're putting your socks, matching them together. And then when you put those socks on the next Tuesday, it's in your subconscious, right? So allow yourself to make your life magical. Scorpio is really good at this. They're very witchy Scorpios, right? So you want to serve others with compassion and care. And the most important thing is really to prioritize your own self-care. Like, how do you need to be nurtured? And how do you need to be spiritually taken care of? Do you need to go to church every week? Do you need to meditate every day? Do you need to have people around you that are aligned with your goals, right? What is it that you need in order to feel spiritually fulfilled? And incorporating that into your self-care would certainly be time well spent. So dream up a healthy, inspired daily regime. Oh, wow. Hey, Jen O'Toole, happy birthday. Oh, it is a birthday gift, right? Perfect timing indeed. I hope you're doing well. It's so good to see you, Jen. Thanks for popping in. I hope you really enjoy Neptune in Aries. I'm sure you will. You need a better routine for meditation. Yeah, I at this point I do it like it's like every morning I do it. I make sure I do it every single morning. And honestly, Casmar, it's the most practical thing you can do because you're sending love, energy to everybody in the world, right? Everybody you're going to be in contact with, and then you kind of just show up. So I would definitely do it, especially because you're a Scorpio and you're, nice and efficient. I really feel like that half hour of meditation in the morning, it's going to save you so much trouble. Trust me. You know how they say we can be penny wise and pound foolish? Well, the same thing with time. Oh, I don't want to spend the time doing this. Trust me. Spend the time pre-paving your days. So good luck with that. I think you'll do great. And you want to, just dream up a healthy, inspired daily regime. How can you fall in love with your life, your lifestyle? So Sagittarius, this Neptune transit, it's going to be really fun for you. You got this in your 5th house of creativity. So you're dreaming of fun. How can you make every day really fun and spectacular? And you want to express yourself boldly through your art, through your creativity. Maybe you're not an artist. Okay, well, express yourself by going to the movies, going to the arcade, or doing skee ball, or rollerblading, or whatever, ice skating. Anything that you can do that is fun. You want to really awaken that inner child with the 5th house. Rekindle your joy and playfulness. The 5th house is like that little kid inside. It's just excited about being excited and wants to do things without overthinking it, right? So this is definitely a time to release any form of perfectionism. And you don't want to put limits on yourself. You don't want to say, oh, I can't do that. I'm a terrible dancer. I'm a terrible artist. Never do that. Because what if you're actually a really good dancer? And what if you're a really good artist? Well, you're cutting yourself off at the knees, right? By asserting that you can't do something. So don't underestimate what you can and cannot do. Remember, you have an alternative self that is a great dancer, is a great swimmer, is a great artist. And you can always call upon that alternative self to help you achieve whatever objective you might have. So keep a light heart. That's going to be really important. And open up to romance and joy, right? The 5th house is about, it's about true love, but it's not necessarily a long-term partner. This is kind of the universe's joke that you got the house of true love in the 5th and the house of partnership in the 7th. That's not to say that you can't fall in love with your partner. Obviously you can, but what's in between the 5th and the 7th is the 6th. Your lifestyle has to jibe. Your lifestyles have to work well together. And your habits have to work well together. If you're fastidious, you can't be with somebody who's a total slob. That will just drive you nuts, right? So that sixth house is what bridges the gap between true love and your marriage. So you want to find somebody ideally who has the same habits as you, or along those lines, has similar lifestyle tendencies. So dream up uninhibited self-expression. Just have fun, Sagittarius. Just enjoy your life. Do things that make you laugh and smile, and don't take things so personally, or seriously for that matter. So Capricorn, this transit Neptune in Aries is in your fourth house. So you're dreaming of home, that perfect place where you can go to collapse, right? Where you can go to restore your spirit. The fourth house has to do with your home. It has to do with your family. It has to do with your roots, your emotional foundation. But most important, it's about your sense of emotional security. What things in your life give you a sense of familiarity? Family, familiarity, right? This could be simply your toast at 7 a.m. every morning. This could be you listening to your music while you're brushing your teeth. Whatever those familiar routines, that is a fourth house thing. So you want to find out what it is that you need to make you feel really emotionally nurtured and cared for. How can you really tap into the Divine Mother? And I would say with Neptune in your fourth, you can get a very, very good image of the Divine Mother, and you can be inspired by the Divine Mother. And honestly, Capricorn, if you want to get ahead in your career, work that fourth house, the opposite of the 10th. The 10th house is your career. Fourth house is opposite of that. It's your family, your home, your personal life. And if you want to go high in your career, you got to have that emotional security. You don't want to be like Nixon, Capricorn, who had a terrible fourth house. He got to the height of his profession. He was president of the United States, but then he was so paranoid that when he got to the top, he couldn't stop biting his fingernails. And what did he do? But he bugged his office, and he went down shamefully. And he wouldn't have if he had that emotional security. So if you want to get high up that mountain, make sure your base is secure. Make sure that you feel unconditionally loved, whether or not you get that trophy. Because you don't want to have that sense of conditional love when you're pursuing your goals, because it's a pressure that does not serve you. Because you want to feel fulfilled from the get-go. You want to feel fulfilled from when you're waking up in the morning in your home, leaving your home, going out into the world to kick ass. So if you want to kick ass, make sure your personal home life is all taken care of. You want to feel really, really nurtured, really yummy on the inside, really tucked in and cared for better than ever before. And if you can do this, I promise you, your career is going to take off in really new and exciting waves. And we know that you care about that a lot. So you want to nurture your family bonds. That's going to help. Being more empathetic is going to help. Essentially, it's going to strengthen your roots. And the stronger your roots are, the higher and stronger you're going to grow. And establish new traditions. Establish new traditions. I have these little birdies that are outside my window. It's a little cool for them in LA right now, but there's like 3 of them. 3 little birds. I think that's a Bob Marley song. Maybe that's a song that you can listen to. I think there's a Bob Marley song about, I don't know. It aligns with home and family. It's about 3 little birds out my window. So maybe you listen to that, Capricorn. Maybe that's why. Because they left. Maybe it was a message for you. Oh, one's still there. In any case, Capricorn, establish new traditions. What can you do to establish that sense of security and solidity in your life? And you want to really tap into that Divine Mother in which you're unconditionally loved, whether or not you get that prize, get that raise, etc. Because at the end of the day, if you have that unconditional love, whether or not you hit your mark, you're going to be able to hit your mark better, easier, faster. So Aquarius, well, this is going to be fun for you. You get along with Aries quite well. And it's a 3rd house. It's an Aries transit, which is right up your alley. So it's about communication, you're learning, what you do on a day-to-day basis to a certain extent, how you think, your mindset. The 3rd house incorporates a lot, just like its sign that it's associated with Gemini. It's your neighbors, it's your neighborhood, it's your social life, it's your short distance travels, it's your siblings, it's your cousins, it's your thinking, it's your writing, it's your speaking. At the end of the day, though, it has to do with what's in your noggin, how you're thinking. right? And how you're communicating. So you're dreaming of curiosity during this transit because that's what Gemini is. They're very curious people, right? They're the curious George of the zodiac. Hey, great talent. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in tonight. So the third house is very Gemini. It's very curious. And that curious mind is going to help you to learn so much because it's that young mind, right? You want to have a young mind, just like you want to have a young heart and you want to be young at heart and have a light heart. You also want to have that mind that is curious, and you want your mind to be a happy neighborhood. That's the most important thing, because with that lightness, you're going to be able to learn more and you're going to be able to teach more. Part of this is going to be speaking your truth. With the third house, you could speak too much, or you might not be able to speak enough or as much as you ought to speak, right? You might be holding back. You might be reticent. You might feel stifled. So you want to find that balance between oversharing and over talking and keeping yourself bottled up. And you also want to make sure that you're listening. We have 2 ears for a reason and 1 mouth, right? So I would keep that in mind. Aquarius is just going to be important because with Neptune in your third house, you'll probably be getting a lot of impressions, a lot of different ideas. Better to write them down than to blast them in conversations, just because you could overwhelm other people. Just be considerate because not everybody's going to be able to take in as much information as you. You may want to inspire other people through your writing, your teaching, or communicating. That could be really fun. And I'd say be sure to stay curious and explore new ideas. Don't be so fixed. Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's the power of fixed thought. And although that's important because you got to maintain a particular thought in order to manifest that thought in reality, it also is important to stay mentally agile and to say, well, I never looked at it this way. Remember, you always have the ability to see things differently. So if you're looking at something through a lens that makes you feel bad, there's a way of looking at it in a way that's empowering. I'd say you want to dream of really powerful conversations. A conversation can change everything, right? Oh, it's just a conversation. Well, a conversation could be a big deal, right? You're opening up new ideas. You're putting things into action. So I would say be sure to speak your truth, learn, share, and be sure to play. Because the third house, in a lot of respects, is about play. And that curious mind can come up with a lot of different ideas. And you might realize that you're getting them from out of the blue, from the higher mind. So enjoy that. And last but never least, my fishies. Hey, fishies. So Pisces, this Neptune in Aries transit is hitting your second house. So it's about your money, your wealth, your values, your self-worth. And you're dreaming of worth. You may be dreaming of wealth. You may be dreaming of having lots and lots of money or living a very, very value-oriented lifestyle. And that's what happiness is. Happiness is value fulfillment. So when you have your values and you know what your values are and you're fulfilling those values, well, that's happiness. So you want to make sure, though, that you're aware of what your values are, because Neptune does obfuscate things. It fuzzies things up a bit. So you might want to get a list going, and it might change, Pisces. You know, even in the middle of a week, you could say, well, my highest priority this week is work. And then midweek, you'd be like, oh, shoot, I've been ignoring my partner. My highest priority now is going to be my relationship, right? So allow your values to change, but just keep on top of what is most important to you in any given moment, because that flexibility is going to be important. It might help for you to come up with your top 4 values. Say it's health, your relationship, your job, and I don't know, what else would there be? Money or beauty, pleasure, whatever. Find out what matters most to you and align with it. In terms of finances, Pisces very rarely have issues with money. It seems to flow into their life very easily. Why? Because they typically don't care about it. And as you know, when you don't care, well, that's when things happen for whatever reason, probably because there's no resistance, right? So make sure that if you're having any financial issues, just step into that vibration. It's very easy for Pisces to do that. Imagine somebody who's really, really rich and who has always been around abundance and step into that energy. Case closed. Close it up. If it's old story in terms of money, end that story, enter a new chapter, enter a new movie, because that's what Neptune's about. It's about being in your own movie. What movie are you in, right? So know your values, know your worth. We spoke about that. Balance your generosity with practicality. The issue with Neptune in the second, it's a matter of like making all this money and being like, I don't even know where it goes, because Neptune can dissolve things, right? So I would say just make sure that you are putting money away on a regular basis, just so there's not that sense of, well, I don't know where it went. I made all this money. So balance your generosity. You don't want to be too generous. You want to be practical as well. And you want to dream up real great financial stability, and also dream up the most value you can give to the world. How can you be not just value fulfilled yourself, but to provide much value for other people? And that is also, of course, going to result in higher income for you. You know, the more people you make happy, the more value you provide to others' lives is going to account for how much money you can make. And it doesn't have to be necessarily for your job. You could be providing value for people and in outside of work, let's say, and then that will bleed over into your work because you have that energy. You're in that zone. So do enjoy that. I think it'll be good for you. I think you'll be getting a nice break, Pisces, because Neptune in your sign, probably a little bit difficult for you to manifest the vision. You're probably going to get the vision, but to actually make it happen may have been a little bit tough. Like, I don't know, this could go wrong or whatever. So Neptune in Aries should be good for you. So enjoy that. Well, we did it, folks. We went through every single sign of the zodiac for Neptune and Aries. I hope this was fun for you. If you're catching this live, well, you're in for a treat, because we have our new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th, 2025. So we have Neptune entering Aries the day after it. So even though we spoke about Neptune and Aries tonight, these themes that we spoke about for each sign are highly relevant because the new moon is in the same sign. The new moon solar eclipse will be in Aries, the same placement as Neptune. So zone in on the themes that we spoke about and try to just relax a little bit. It is eclipse season, and just get a sense of what the ideal might feel like, right? Don't feel like you have to do anything. Remember, Mercury is retrograde. Venus is retrograde. It's eclipse season. Things are being jostled around. So don't feel like you have to figure out something straight away, right? Or that you have to do something this red hot second. Do instead allow yourself to relax the body, relax the mind, and allow yourself to be somewhat formless, and then determine what your excitement is, what would make you happy, and enjoy that. Do check out my website if there's anything I can do for you. Do check out all my free resources. And if you're catching this live, well, of course, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for This Week Astrology. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining, and I shall see you soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.